Okay, imagine for a second that you could see your entire life laid out in front of you.
Hmm.
And I don't mean, the vague, I'll get married, I'll retire kind of stuff.
Right.
I mean every single moment, the exact second you spill coffee on your shirt 3 years from now.
Wow.
The exact moment you fall in love. And, well, the exact moment you lose the people you love the most. You see all the joy, but you also see the crushing, unavoidable pain.
It's the ultimate existential question, isn't it? If you knew the ending and you knew it was a tragedy, would you still sign up for the trip?
Would you still take that first step?
Yeah.
That is the absolute core of the story we are covering today. We're doing a deep dive into Story of Your Life, the powerhouse novella by Ted Chiang,
And look, I know a lot of people probably know this story as the basis for the movie Arrival.
which is a great movie.
A fantastic movie. But the novella, it's a different beast entirely. It fuses hard science fiction, actual linguistics and physics, with this incredibly intimate, heartbreaking memoir.
It's a genre bender in the truest sense. I remember reading it and thinking, okay, I'm learning about syntax, and then like 2 pages later, I'm just absolutely sobbing.
Totally.
So let's set the scene. We are not dealing with little green men. This isn't Independence Day.
No, definitely not. No blowing up the White House. It starts when these alien devices just appear in orbit.
But the real action is on the ground. These things called looking glasses pop up in meadows.
They're basically two-way communication mirrors, maybe 10 feet high.
And the government, of course, recruits our protagonist, Dr. Louise Banks. She's a linguist.
And she's paired with a physicist, Gary Donnelly. Their job is to go into a tent, stare into this mirror, and somehow figure out how to talk to the entities on the other side.
Entities that are very, very much not humanoid.
The Heptapods.
I just love the description of them. It's so un-Hollywood. They look like barrels suspended on 7 limbs.
Radially symmetric. That's such a key detail.
What does that mean exactly?
It means they don't have a front or a back. They have 7 eyes ringed around the top. They can move in any direction with, equal ease.
And the skin. It's described as gray and looking like corduroy ridges.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I gotta say, it makes me think of some questionable 1970s furniture that just got up and walked away.
It's a great visual, but it really emphasizes how alien they are. There's no face to read. There's no mouth you can watch move.
Which makes Louise's job a total nightmare. She can't just say, take me to your leader.
Not a chance.
In fact, the first time she hears a recording of them, she says it sounds like, and this is a direct quote, a wet dog shaking water out of its fur.
Right. Because they don't have larynx. Their whole biology is so different that humans physically cannot make their sounds.
So Louise has to use what she calls a monolingual discovery procedure.
Which sounds incredibly fancy.
It does. But from what I gathered, it's basically the slowest, most agonizing game of charades ever. You point at yourself, you say human.
You point at them, hope they don't vaporize you, and
Right.
just see what happens.
It's the hard, grinding work of field linguistics. But this is where the story pivots into pure Ted Chiang brilliance. Louise discovers the heptapods have 2 languages. 2 completely distinct languages.
There's Heptapod A, which is that spoken wet dog sound. It's got free word order. It's chaotic, but you can, technically learn to understand it.
But then there's Heptapod B,
Ah, yeah.
the written language. And this is where my brain started to hurt in the best possible way.
Heptapod B is the game changer. It's semasiographic.
I had to look this up. Semasiographic. It basically means the writing conveys meaning without any reference to speech, right?
Exactly.
Like mathematical notation. If I write the number 5, a French person reads 5, I read 5, but the symbol itself just means the concept of 5.
That's a perfect analogy. Heptapod B is entirely like that. It is not a transcription of what they speak. It's a completely separate system.
So you could be fluent in writing it and have no idea how to say any of it.
None at all.
And the visual of it is just wild. It's not linear, not left to right or right to left. It's described as looking like fanciful praying mantids or Escher-esque lattices.
It's a single complex design, a semigram. And this is so crucial. Because it's not linear, it doesn't have a beginning or an end in the way our sentences do.
Right. And the book describes Louise watching a heptapod write. This blew my mind. The alien puts down one stroke that starts in what we'd call one word, curves down to become part of a second, and then flares out to be part of a third.
Think about what that implies.
You can't.
To write that single line that connects three different concepts, the heptapod has to know exactly how the entire sentence is going to end before it puts down the very first mark.
You can't just make it up as you go. In English, I can start a sentence with I am going to, and then decide halfway through if I'm going to the store or to the moon.
Exactly. You can change your mind.
Wait.
We experience language sequentially, one word after another.
But in Heptapod B, the end is implicit in the beginning. It requires a simultaneous mode of consciousness. You have to see the whole design at once.
And this is where the physics comes in. Because while Louise is having her mind melted by grammar, Gary the physicist is struggling with math.
Until they stumble upon Fermat's principle of least time.
This is, I think, one of the most elegant connections in all of science fiction.
Okay, so let's break down Fermat's principle. The example I always remember is the lifeguard. You know this one.
The lifeguard on the beach, yes. Go for it.
So you're a lifeguard on the sand, see someone drowning in the water. You want to get to them as fast as possible. Now, you can run faster on sand than you can swim. So do you run in a straight line right at them?
No, because that puts you in the water. The slow part too soon.
Exactly. A straight line is the shortest distance, but it's not the fastest time.
Right.
So the best path is to run further down the beach, staying on the fast sand longer, and then cut into the water at an angle. That path takes the least amount of time.
And here's the kicker. Light does the exact same thing. When light goes from air into water, it bends. Refraction.
And it bends to take the exact path that minimizes travel time.
Yes.
But wait, this is the part that always gets me. The lifeguard has a brain. They can calculate the best path. Light is just light. Photons. How does the light know which path is the fastest?
That is the teleological question.
Teleological. That means goal-oriented.
Yes. The human way of explaining it is causal. We say the light hits the water, the density changes. That causes it to bend. It's sequential. Cause, then effect.
The light isn't knowing anything. It's just reacting.
But the heptapod view is different. Their physics and our variational physics suggests the light has a goal to minimize time. And to do that,
you have to know the destination before you even start moving.
There it is. That's the link.
Wow. To write a sentence in Heptapod B, you have to know the end before the beginning.
And to follow Fermat's principle, the light has to know the destination before it starts the journey.
So humans are sequential cause and effect, one domino hitting the next.
And heptapods are simultaneous. They see the purpose, the beginning, and the end all at once. For them, the universe isn't a sequence of events. It's a unified, single design.
That is so heavy. But this is where it stops being an abstract lecture and starts actually rewiring Louise's brain.
She's not just studying this language, she's immersing herself in it. She's dreaming in semigrams.
Which brings up the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis.
Which is a real linguistic theory that, put simply, suggests the language you speak determines how you think, or at least it heavily influences it.
So if your language is purely sequential, you think sequentially. But if you learn a language that's simultaneous,
your brain starts to, pattern match, it adapts. Louise's internal monologue, the voice in her head, it starts to fade.
She stops thinking in words.
And starts thinking in these visual simultaneous blocks.
And this changes her perception of time. She describes her memory before all this as a column of cigarette ash.
Right, sequential, burning through time, leaving the past behind.
But afterwards, she says her life feels like gigantic blocks. And she starts to remember things that haven't happened yet.
She remembers the future. And this is the gut punch. This is the emotional core of the whole story.
Because all through the book, we get these little snippets of her life with her daughter. The story is actually addressed to you, the daughter. And at first, you just assume they're flashbacks.
Of course. You think, okay, she's a mom. She's remembering her kid while she's doing this crazy alien stuff.
But as you understand the language, you realize they're not flashbacks at all.
They're flash forwards. Louise is seeing her daughter's entire life from birth to death before the child is even conceived.
And it's not some Hallmark movie version of a life. I mean, yes, there's joy. She sees the baby smelling like sour milk and vanilla.
And the teenage rebellion, the slam doors.
But she also sees the end.
She sees the tragedy. She knows with absolute certainty that her daughter will die at age 25 in a rock climbing accident.
That detail always gets me. It's not some dramatic storm or anything. It's just a flake of stone giving way.
A flake of stone. And she sees it as clearly as she sees the alien in front of her. She also knows that her husband, Gary, the physicist...
The guy she's working with right now.
Yeah. She knows he will eventually leave her. They'll have this child. They'll love her. The child will die. and then their marriage will fall apart.
Which brings us to the big one, the paradox of free will.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Louise knows her daughter's going to die on that mountain, why doesn't she just stop it? Don't let her go rock climbing.
That's the question everyone asks. If I told you, hey, if you walk out that door, you're going to break your leg, you just wouldn't walk out the door.
Right. I'd sit on the couch. I'd change the future. Which means your prediction was wrong.
Exactly. That's the Book of Ages paradox. If a magic book contains the entire future and you read that you're going to bet on a horse, but then you decide not to.
Then the book was wrong. But by definition, the Book of Ages can't be wrong.
So if the book is right, you have to bet on the horse. Even if you don't want to. It sounds like you're just a puppet.
That's the human take on it, yeah. We equate freedom with choice.
But the story suggests something different. It suggests that in a simultaneous consciousness, freedom is kind of a meaningless concept.
How can freedom be meaningless?
Well, think about a wedding. When you stand there and say, I do, you aren't giving your partner new information. They already know you love them.
Right.
You're not predicting the future either. You are performing the truth.
Performative language.
Yes. Saying the words makes the marriage real. For the Heptapods, and now for Louise, knowing the future is like knowing the lines of a play you're deeply committed to. You don't say the lines because you're forced to. You say them because they are the truth of the story.
So she doesn't feel like a puppet. She feels more like a participant.
Or an efficient, maybe. To know the future is to accept the obligation to fulfill it. There's actually a strange kind of relief in that. Think about all the anxiety we have about making the right choice.
Oh, constantly. The paralysis of choice.
In the Heptapod consciousness, that anxiety is just gone. You aren't worried about the outcome because the outcome is already part of the moment. You're just present. You're fully in the design.
But that design includes the death of her child. That's the part I really struggle with.
Of course.
It's one thing to accept a job knowing you'll quit in 5 years. It's another thing to bring a person into the world knowing they'll die young and tragically.
It is. But Louise also knows about the non-zero-sum game moment.
Remind me of that part. I know it's in the book, but I don't think it was in the movie.
It's this beautiful little time loop. Her daughter, as a teenager, asks for help with homework. She needs a word for a situation where everyone wins.
Okay.
And Louise says, you mean a non-zero-sum game? And the daughter says thanks and runs off.
Simple enough.
But years earlier, when the daughter is just a baby, Gary happens to mention the term non-zero-sum game. And Louise only knows what the phrase is because she remembers that future conversation with her teenage daughter.
Whoa. So the future informs the past, which then creates the future.
It's closed loop, a circle. And I think that's why she goes through with it. She can't remove the pain without also removing the joy. Her daughter's life, even ending at 25, is a complete, beautiful design. If she tries to change the ending, she erases the person.
She erases the baby smelling like vanilla. She erases all the I love yous.
Exactly. She realizes that a life doesn't have to be infinite to be valuable.
So let's go to the end. The heptapods they just leave.
Abruptly. Transmutation at a distance. The looking glasses turn into inert silica, basically sand.
No goodbye note, no here's the cure for cancer.
Nothing. Which is frustratingly realistic, right? We never find out why they came. Were they tourists, observers? We don't know.
But they live. Louise completely changed. She's walking with Gary in the moonlight. This is the moment. Gary turns to her. He doesn't know the future. He doesn't know about the divorce or the tragedy. He just sees the woman he loves.
And he asks her, do you want to make a baby?
And this is the choice. Louise is holding both realities in her head at once. In one hand, the warmth, the promise of a new life.
And in the other hand, a morgue. A funeral. Years of unimaginable grief.
Most of us, if we saw that grief coming, we'd run. We'd say, no, I can't do that to myself. Or to him.
But Louise says yes.
She says yes. The line is, from the beginning, I knew my destination, and I chose my route accordingly.
She chooses the joy and the pain. She chooses to enact the whole story.
It really changes how you look at suffering, doesn't it? We usually see pain as a mistake, something that went wrong. If only I hadn't done X.
Right. But in the heptapod view, the pain isn't a mistake. It's part of the geometry of your life. It's a load-bearing wall. You can't knock it down without the whole house collapsing.
It reminds me of that idea that grief is just the price we pay for love. Louise sees the price tag up front. It's a very steep price.
And she decides, I'll buy it.
She buys it.
Yeah.
And in doing so, she teaches us something so profound about being present. We spend so much of our lives living in the future. I'll be happy when, or I'm worried about. Louise shows us that even if you know what happens next week, the only thing that really matters is how fully you live right now.
It's a celebration of the journey. Even a journey with a known, tragic destination is worth taking.
So to wrap this up, I want to leave everyone with the thought we started with, but maybe it hits a little harder now.
Okay.
We're always wishing for certainty. We want to know how things will turn out, but story of your life suggests that maybe the mystery is what protects us.
Or, on the flip side, that if we really saw the full picture, we might find the bravery to accept all of it.
So here's the question for you to carry around today. If you could see your whole life laid out like a map, every heartbreak, every triumph, every bored Tuesday, and every devastating Sunday, would you still take that first step? Louise Banks did.
Would you?
Mhm.
It's the only question that matters.